Welcome, beloved Aries souls, both the seasoned star walkers and the freshly awakened fire signs, to Zodiac Talks Tarot. Whether you've been blazing your own trail through these cosmic forests with me for moons now, or you're brand new here because of a curious click, a gut nudge, or maybe a glitch in the YouTube algorithm, which we both know was probably spirit nudging you in the right direction, I'm deeply honored you've landed here. And trust me, if you're an Aries tuning in during this powerful May 2025 cycle, it's no coincidence. It never is. Here on Zodiac Talks Tarot, we don't just read cards, we translate the silent whispers of the cosmos. And for you, Aries, the universe isn't whispering anymore. It's practically shouting through a megaphone in your direction, asking, are you ready to step into a new stride? Let's be honest, Aries. You're not exactly the type to tiptoe into transformation. No. You charge in, head first, heart open, and occasionally, often forget to look back. That's part of your magic. And this month, you're not just stepping into change. You're owning it like the main character in your own origin story. Now let's talk astrology, because May 2025 is no ordinary backdrop. We've got a Scorpio full moon lighting up your chart during Taurus season, and that, my friends, is what I like to call a cosmic contradiction with benefits. Scorpio asks us to dive deep, face our shadows, and release what's no longer serving us. Taurus, meanwhile, just wants to slow down, sip something earthy, and enjoy the sensory pleasures of life. So what happens when a fire sign like Aries meets a season like this? You feel torn between burning it all down and planting a garden in the ashes. You want movement, but you're being invited to move with intention, not impulse. And that, right there, is where your breakthrough begins. When I pulled your cards wishing well, magical map shifter, and the oh so needed heal the ouch, I had to chuckle. Spirit really isn't holding back this month. You're being reminded that every moment of pain, every delay, every rejection, and yes, even that one awkward text you regret sending, don't worry, we've all got one of those, was never wasted. It's being transformed into fuel. Not gasoline. Jet fuel. You are in the midst of what I like to call a divine upgrade. And here's the kicker, you don't have to hustle harder to receive it. You just need to align with it. Let me put it this way. You know how sometimes your phone randomly updates overnight, and the next day everything looks sleeker, faster, a little more intuitive, but you're still tapping buttons like it's the old version? That's you right now, Aries. You've already shifted. But you're still moving like the old you. And it's time to catch up with your own potential. Now, one of the most important messages that came through in your spread is this: your belief system is the engine. The thoughts you entertain, the words you speak to yourself, the energy you allow in your space, these are the architects of your reality. And right now, the universe is asking, are you building cathedrals or cages? Because listen, your strength has never been in how much you can do. It's in how deeply you believe in your right to receive. Let's talk about that card protecting your treasure. That card wasn't about some external goal. It was about you. You are the treasure. Not the relationship, not the job, not the likes, not even the vision board, though. Please, keep making those, they're fun and oddly therapeutic. Your energy, your light, your presence, that is what needs protection, nourishment, and yes, a little celebration. And hey, if lately you've been hiding your light under a proverbial hoodie because of past disappointments, heartbreaks, or judgmental group chats, here's your gentle call out: stop apologizing for how bright you are. That wasn't modesty. That was conditioning. The world doesn't need a smaller version of you. It needs the real, radiant, no holds barred Aries. And to those of you quietly wondering if it's too late, or if you missed your chance, let me stop you right there. That doubt? That hesitation? It shows up right before the breakthrough. I've seen it 1,000 times with my Aries clients. Just when they're about to receive what they asked for, that little inner voice pops up and says, "What if I'm not ready?" That voice is not your intuition. That's your old self trying to hold on to control. Let it go. The universe heard your wish the first time. Now it's delivering. Your only job is to stay in the room long enough to receive it. Now, for those of you who identify with the term chosen ones, those of you who have felt like you were born to rise through adversity, speak truth when it's unpopular, and lead from the heart even when it's been bruised, this reading is especially for you. You didn't come here to blend in. You came to blaze trails. And in the year of triumph 2025, you're not just here to win quietly. You're here to embody the kind of bold grace that makes others believe in possibility again. Sure, there will be moments this month where you're asked to slow down, reflect, and yes, maybe even apologize, gasp. But don't confuse a pause with a detour. Some of the most powerful strides begin in stillness. Like a sprinter in the blocks, you gather, you breathe, and when it's time, you explode forward. And speaking of stride, let's talk music. Because the soundtrack for your month? It's definitely that 80s jam, "Ain't Nothing Gonna Break My Stride, Nobody Gonna Slow Me Down, Oh No." Yes, that one. You're not just moving. You're grooving. To wrap this up, let me say this: you've come a long way, Aries. You've faced demons, dodged detours, and danced with doubt. But here you are, stronger, wiser, and more tuned in than ever. The energy around you this May is alive with promise. Not in a vague, maybe someday kind of way. In a right here, right now kind of way. This is your moment. Not to prove anything, but to finally become what you've always sensed you were becoming. So take a breath. Plant your feet. Smile at your reflection like you know something the world doesn't yet. Because you do. You know that nothing is going to stop you now. And I'll be right here, cheering you on with every step. Now, let's rewind for a moment, because to understand where you're going, Aries, we've got to honor where you've been. Let's talk about your recent past. The part you might be tempted to sweep under the cosmic rug. You know, that stretch of time that had you staring into your ceiling fan at 2 a.m. asking the universe, "What in the fire sign hell is this teaching me?" Well, guess what? A whole lot. First off, let's talk about that toxic tie, you know, the one. The connection that was electric, magnetic, maybe even karmic, but ultimately, it came with more strings than a puppet show. The devil and the lovers showed up in your cards for a reason, and no, not just to make things spicy. They came in to confront you with a crossroads. Do you keep choosing a familiar chaos, or do you choose your soul's peace? Spoiler alert, you made the brave choice. And if you're still wobbling, just know one foot in peace is worth more than both feet in a circus. Let's be real, your intuition was all over the place, too. One day your gut was screaming run. The next it was whispering maybe they'll change, and in between? Oh, we were pulling cards like a Vegas blackjack table hoping for clarity. And yes, I know about those 3 a.m. oracle sessions. You pull one card, it's vague. So you pull another. Still vague. Then suddenly you've got a pile of 12 cards, zero clarity, and a deep craving for pizza. It happens to the best of us. Don't judge the process. But then came the quiet shift. The moment you stopped trying to decode every sign, and just felt. The Hermit and the Empress made their entrance. That's spiritual shorthand for solitude meets self-worth. You pulled inward. Not to isolate, but to integrate. You realized you weren't broken, you were blooming. You stopped giving CPR to dead dynamics and started watering your own roots. Now, I'm not saying the healing process was easy. Healing never feels glamorous. It's not all incense and sound bowls. Sometimes it's ugly crying on the bathroom floor over a text that never came. Sometimes it's deleting their number 5 times because you memorized it. But healing still happened. And you didn't just heal, you grew. You became wiser, softer, and somehow, stronger. And sure, some wounds still itch. That's normal. You're human. Even the best of us flinch when we see something that reminds us of what we left behind. But here's the thing, don't scratch those wounds until they bleed into your future. Let them heal. Let the scar remind you of what you overcame, not what you lost. Now, from a psychological lens, and trust me, I've seen this pattern in Aries placements for years. You're not exactly famous for sitting still. Stillness, to you, can feel like failure. Like stagnation. But spiritually, that pause you took wasn't stagnation. It was sacred. That was your soul's silent growth spurt. You weren't stuck, you were steeping, like tea. And now? You're strong enough to taste the difference between what feeds you and what drains you. So if you're wondering why everything feels different but looks the same, it's because you've changed. And that's the part we often overlook. Before life changes around us, it must first shift within us. And Aries? You've already made that shift. Now let's see what's waiting for you just up ahead. Now, let's take a look at what's rolling in for you, Aries. Not what's lingering in the rearview mirror, but what's barreling toward you like a freight train of divine timing. And spoiler alert, it's looking powerful. The energy coming in for you is big. And I don't mean get a raise and treat yourself to a latte big. I mean spiritual upgrade big. This is the part in the hero's journey where you realize you're not the sidekick. You're not the background character, you're the chosen one. You've been summoned for something greater. And the universe? It's finally stopped sending mixed signals. You're getting direct downloads now. Let's break it down. First, the trio of cosmic gold, destiny, wish fulfillment, and spiritual strength. That's not just energy, that's alignment. It's the universe handing you a blueprint for your next chapter, and guess what? You're not just building something, you're becoming something. And here's the secret, your power isn't just in your ability to dream. It's in your ability to believe those dreams are meant for you. Now, let's talk about your heart chakra, because wow, it's lighting up like Times Square at midnight. Seriously, it's giving open sign blinking in neon vibes. But here's the deal, Aries, you can't manifest love or abundance, or joy, or anything juicy while guarding your heart like Fort Knox. Trust me, I know you've been burned before. I know there are exes, friends, maybe even family members who mistook your vulnerability for weakness. But that's on them, not you. Here's the truth, guarding your heart might keep out the pain, but it also keeps out the miracles. And then, just when you think the universe is done calling you out, it brings in the throat chakra, the energetic center of speaking your truth. You know, that thing we often avoid because we're worried it might rock the boat. Well, Aries, the boat needs rocking. Speak your truth. Even if your voice shakes. Even if it comes out all messy at first. The people who are meant for you will lean in. And those who aren't? Let them drift. This is your season to be unapologetically aligned. And hey, if someone can't handle your fire, tell them, gently, of course, to get out of your zodiac kitchen. You're not here to simmer. You're here to sizzle. But perhaps the most profound message coming through for you is this: hope is your compass. And in this year of triumph 2025, hope isn't some airy-fairy concept you keep in your back pocket like a lucky coin. It's the engine. It's the thing that separates those who wait from those who walk. Hope turns the invisible into the inevitable. Hope is what gets you up one more time after life knocks you down. And Aries, you've been knocked down enough. Now it's time to rise, not with a grudge but with grace. Here's where the Buddhist in me leans in and smiles. Because when your heart, your gut, and your soul all start vibrating at the same frequency, that's not coincidence. That's divine choreography. That's you moving in rhythm with the universe. It's like when a dancer finally hears the music from inside their bones, not just their ears. So if you're feeling a bit overwhelmed by all this energy, good. That means something real is happening. Your comfort zone is being traded for a launch pad. The old self is packing up, and the new self is moving in with better boundaries, a bigger vision, and finally, your voice. This energy isn't just about where you're going. It's about who you're becoming while you get there. So breathe. Feel it. Own it. And walk like the path is rising to meet you, because it is. Your moment isn't coming. It's here. Let's talk about the spiritual memo the universe just slid across your energetic desk, Aries. And spoiler alert, it's not asking you to hustle harder. It's asking you to align deeper. The first card to fly out? 8 of Wands. Fast-moving blessings. And when I say fast, I mean quicker than your last Amazon Prime order fast. Suddenly, the stagnant energy is clearing. That to-do list you've been staring at for 2 weeks? You'll knock it out in a day. That inner nudge to finally start the thing, call the person, change the direction, it's not just a thought anymore. It's movement. Forward, intentional, blessed movement. And then we've got this beautiful cosmic combo, the Chariot and the King of Earth. This is what I call divine momentum meets real-world maturity. You're no longer just chasing dreams, you're rebuilding a throne for them to sit on. The Chariot reminds you to trust your intuition as your GPS, and the King of Earth says, but don't forget to pay your bills and eat something green. Translation? Stay spiritually lit but financially literate. You're building more than just a vision, you're rebuilding a life. Now, let's get to the real spiritual chiropractic adjustment, the Hanged Man. That's the universe grabbing you by the metaphorical shoulders and saying, sweetheart, maybe it's not the world that's stuck, maybe it's just your point of view. This card invites you to stop gripping so tightly to one idea, one outcome, or one version of success. Flip the lens. Flip the narrative. Flip your own internal script. And then comes the 10 of Wands, aka the card of carrying too much emotional baggage. And listen, Aries, if the burden you're dragging around doesn't have a first-class emotional support plan, you don't need it. Drop it. Let it go. It's not a designer bag, and even if it were, emotional exhaustion is never in style. Because here's the truth, grounded in both ancient wisdom and modern sanity, your magic isn't in how much you do, it's in how deeply you are. Hustling from fear is frantic. Moving from soul is fearless. So let this sink in, the future doesn't reward the most frantic, it honors the most faithful. Stay rooted, stay clear, and let your sacred self lead the way. Your soul already knows the route. You just have to trust it enough to drive. Now let's move into the celestial closing credits, the part where your guardian angels come in with their robes fluttering and their clipboards out, saying, okay Aries, here's what we need you to know before you blast off into the rest of your destiny. First up, we've got the 4 of Ariel, and honestly, this one is a soft but necessary nudge. It's reminding you to give with your heart, not your ego. This applies to your time, your energy, your attention, and yes, even your Amazon cart. Listen, I get it. Retail therapy can feel like instant alignment. But real abundance doesn't come from hoarding or overspending, it flows from a place of generosity that says, I have enough to share. So maybe the next time you're about to click buy now, just pause for a second and ask yourself, am I filling a void, or flowing from value? It might save you a return label and an existential crisis. Next. Buckle up, because the wheel and the star just entered the chat. That's right, divine timing and divine hope together. This combo is like the universe hitting refresh on your storyline. If you've felt like you've been living in an emotional rerun, same fears, same questions, same Spotify playlist for your spiral, this is your confirmation. The next episode is about to drop. New chapter. New vibe. No, this is not a drill. Yes, you're ready. Then comes the Knight of Raphael, the cosmic poet of the deck. This energy is all about heart-led missions, moving forward with passion, but also discernment. Because here's the truth, not every spark is a soulmate, and not every intense connection is built to last. Aries, don't confuse drama for depth. Look for love that feels like truth wrapped in tenderness, not adrenaline dressed up as affection. You deserve someone who sees your fire and doesn't fear it but respects it. And finally, the Eight of Michael, which lovingly reminds you, you are not stuck. You are being redirected. What feels like delay or confusion? That's just spirit rerouting you towards something better, something more aligned. Because let's be real, chosen ones rarely get the straight line path. Not because you are being punished, but because your purpose is richer, deeper, and yes, sometimes a little more complicated. So take the detour with grace. Take the silence as sacred. Take the redirection as refinement. Because your angels aren't trying to slow you down, they're trying to set you free. Alright Aries, let's talk about love because, let's be honest, even the most independent warrior of the Zodiac has a soft spot for someone they can burn with and build with. Now, let's talk about them. Your person? Yeah, they're confused. And I don't mean just where did I park my car confused. I mean existential, astrological, emotionally scrambled eggs kind of confused. Their thoughts are on a merry-go-round and unfortunately, the music is playing at full volume. They're in deep reflection right now, and from what I can see, they're not just thinking about you, they're rethinking about everything. Every word exchanged, every silence that lingered too long. This is a person who's having full-blown mental debates at 2 a.m. with their pillow. And yet despite the fog they do want to come forward. The cards show it. But here's the catch, their ego is tangled up in the noise. Family opinions, past heartbreak, fear of being vulnerable, it's like they've built a fortress, then forgot where the door is. But here's where it gets real, the world and the Hierophant stepped in. Translation? This person is starting to wake up. They're feeling the cycle closing. The casual, the undefined, it's losing appeal. They want something grounded now. Structure. Commitment. Stability. Maybe even Sunday morning coffee that doesn't come with emotional side-eye. Now here's the twist, your silence? That might have been the loudest thing you've said. Aries, sometimes your absence teaches more than your presence ever could. Let them process. Don't rush in with band-aids and spiritual duct tape. You're not here to fix broken people. You're here to embody love. Let that be the lesson. And if they catch up to you? Great. If not, you're still whole. So, Aries, consider this your cosmic permission slip to drop the doubt, speak your truth without flinching, and step into that next chapter like you were born for it. Because, spoiler alert, you were. In this year of triumph 2025, you're not just out here trying to manifest. No, you remagnetizing. Big difference. You're not chasing things anymore, they refinding you, because your energy finally matches what you deserve. And if it felt like the universe forgot about you, let me assure you it didn't. It was just backstage building your runway. And now that it's ready, baby, it's time to strut. Head high. Heart open. Maybe even toss in a wink just to keep em guessing. Life isn't meant to be survived, it's meant to be lived. So go enjoy it. Laugh more. Love boldly. And trust that everything aligning for you is right on time. And hey, if this reading spoke to your soul, do me a favor, like, share, and subscribe to Zodiac Talks Tarot. We've got a whole universe to explore together.